never get free. Lamb to the slaughter, what you gon' do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed is your son and your daughter. What you gon' do when there's blood in the water? Look me in my eyes, tell me everything's not fine, all the people ain't happy.
Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Now this is What If Deku is a Sorcerer, Part 6. As we cut our episode to start off our episode to a black decaying castle, as several warlocks in chains are being dragged into the castle. As you're like, we've been loyal to Master. As several of the undead mages, quiet mortal, as they're dragging him into the throne room, as they're being placed on their knees in front of a hooded figure on the throne room, as he's like, you failed, warlocks. I gave you a chance. Master, we've been loyal. You failed to kill the boy. It saddens me to do this, but your assistance is no longer required. As they're being dragged towards these pillars, as several of the warlocks are being drained of their essence, as their souls being sucked out of their body, as the head warlocks, the elders, are being forced to watch. I gave you a simple command. Destroy the boy. His existence is a threat itself. My destroyers, I summon thee. As two portals open up. As the first portal comes open, as you see this humongous creature comes piling out. As the second one opens, as this one comes piling, as he walks out. As they kneel in front of their ruler, you summon us, Master. What, as the ruler, sorry. What is your bidding, Master? As he leans forward, kill all warlocks, kill the rest of their clan, and find me the boy and exterminate him. Yes, my king. As these two figures go over to the chained up head of the warlocks that are chained up in front of this ruler. I'll worry about the name later, but yeah. As they rip out his soul, both of their souls out of their body, as they fall limp to the ground, as he's like, go now. Yes, Master. As they portal in, as a portal opens and above the warlock's headquarters where they've been all hiding out. It's not a castle, but it's a give me a second. As the destroyers hover over the city, as they both drop a small ball of fire. As the two balls fall, as soon as hit the ground, a mighty burst of energy destroying the city as several warlocks running for their lives as the two creatures touch down. As the warlocks, what's going on? What are those? As they're throwing spells at the two destroyers, as they're laughing. It's time to die, warlocks. It's time to erase your existence from the realm. As they begin slaughtering every one of them, killing everyone in the village. As the two creatures are laughing, pretty evilly, as they're like, come on, comrade, let's go start our main objective. It's time to go kill us a sorcerer. As they portal away, as the city's burning to the ground. As we cut to the Midoriya's, as Luna's trying to ease Izuku's pain, as Inko's like, if you're going to the Valley of the Hollows, come with me, girls. As Kikyo goes over to Izuku, don't worry, Izuku, I'll find a way to save you. As she kisses him on the forehead, as she goes off, follow Inko. Kikyo and Scarlet. It's just like, Miss Inko, where are we going? If you're going to be going into the the Valley of the Hollows, you'll need something. As they're walking through an armory, it's just like, what? Sorry. And she's like, none of this will help us against, Wraith. It's like, correct, Scarlet. But you need something as soon as you entered the valley, the Wraith will be alerted to your presence. So you need some extra protection. As she hands two swords over to Scarlet and Kikyo. As there's two swords like this. As like, is this silver? Yes, it is. It can't kill a wraith, but it will hurt it somewhat. Only way to kill a wraith is to find the original body and pierce it through the heart. But the chances of you finding the original body in a hollow ground is unlikely. I suggest you get the herb, get the death flower as soon as possible, and portal out. I'm sorry, girls, you have to do something so dangerous. I would go myself, but my son needs me. I need to help your mother to slow down the curse as much as we can. I understand, Inko. Good girls. Now you two should be heading off. I'll see you soon. As the two girls walk out of the room carrying the swords, as Kikyo's parents run over to her, it's like, be careful, sweetheart. As Kikyo's like, I will, mother. As as her father's, remember, be on alert when you're in the valley. I've only been there one time. As they get everything together, as Scarlet says to Kikyo, before we leave, I need to tell you something before we continue further. And she's like, what do you mean, Scarlet? The Death's Flower, it's not going to be an easy task. What do you mean? The Death Flower, it grows on top of a monster. And she's like, what do you mean monster? Let me finish, Kikyo. It grows up on a man-eating plant. Are you serious? We're going to have to deal with Wraith and a plant that eats people? And she's like, what else is going to go wrong? What else do we have to do? As she's like, it gets worse. As order to enter the Valley of the Hollows, we're going to have to we sorry. Once we enter the Valley of the Hollows, we're going to have to pass through a abandoned village just to get to where the monsters usually, where the death flower is usually found. They're in as she explains what's going to happen. She's like, I guess it's a good thing good thing Mom, I guess good thing my mother-in-law brought me the swords. Yes, they will come in handy. Let's go. As they portal away, as they get to the beginning of the valley, as they appear in front of it, and she's like, come on, Kikyo, we don't have much time. And according to Inko, the race should be on our tail pretty soon. As they're walking through the forest, as now they're running, as Scarlet grabs Kikyo, as they dug behind a tree, as several wraiths are flying through the forest, as you have this one, and there's different kinds. As there's a loud screeching noise, as a different, as Kikyo sees a corner of her eye, what is that? Is that as Scarlet, shh, I've never seen a race like that before. As he's hovering across the forest, as he stops, as he says, intruders, as he points to the tree, as Scarlet's, Kikyo, run now. As they're running, get them. As several hollows are chasing after them. Oops. As Kikyo and Scarlet look behind him as he sees all the wraiths following, including this one. As he's like, you can't run. I will get your essence. As that goes on, that's kind of hard to do in my throat, but it's for the story. I don't know how well this is going to turn out on the video, so hopefully, you can hear me with, even though the voice is very low pitch. But let's continue. As they finally get to the abandoned town, as they're running through the town, as the wraiths are right behind them, as Kikyo and Scarlet grabs Kikyo, come on, this way. As they run into a door, as they shut it, as Kikyo's like, what are we gonna do? Oh no, we haven't even got to the main problem yet. As they think they're safe, but they're not. As several wraiths are circling around the building, up in the air. As Kikyo was distracted, as As the wraith peers through the wall, grabbing Kikyo by the throat, as it sucking her essence out. Essence. So hungry. As he begins draining the essence out of Kikyo, as Scarlet swings her sword, as the wraith screams out of pain, as it flies off, as she's like, Kikyo, are you right? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Scarlet. As they run out, as like, I know we're trying to save him, but do you think he's even worth it? As Scarlet says, as Kikyo's like, yes, he is. As they're running, as they're like, there, the church. Let's head there now. As they get close to the church, as they're passing through several tombstones, as skeletons start popping out, coming out of the ground, as they become surrounded by these sort of skeleton things, as they're making distorted noises, as Kikyo and Scarlet unleash fire blasts from their hand, as they're chanting magic, as they're lighting the creatures on fire. They're kind of mixture between a skeleton and a little bit of flesh on it, so as they're vaporizing, as they get to the church door, as they open and shut it, as they lock it up, the front door, it's like, shit. We're halfway there. Now we just gotta find that damn monster. Where would it be? I don't know. I know they're located somewhere in the valley, but not many people have been here and survived. Except for your father, apparently. And she's like, yeah, Dad never mentioned, he doesn't know where it's located either. So as Scarlet stops, as Kikyo, do you smell that? As they smell stale air. It's stale air coming from here. As there's a statue, as they push it over, as it falls down, and it leads to a stairs leading downwards into a old mine shaft. As they go down the stairs, as Kikyo chants, as she starts chanting, as several torches light all at the same time, as they're walking through the stairway, heading to the old mine shaft. As they get there, it's like, shit. Where's this damn thing at? As Scarlet says, as Kikyo, get down. As they hide behind a pillar. As they see this creature, several of these creatures, moving around the mine shaft, as there's a black flower on top of their head. Oops. Sorry, guys. I gotta get back to the picture. There we go. As she's like, that's it. As Kikyo's about to go, as she's like, don't. That's suicide. One of them's dangerous enough, but if we go in there now, we're as good as dead. Let's observe them for now. Once we can locate one by itself, we'll take it out and take the flower. As they watch the man eating plants move around a lot, as they all pass Kikyo and Scarlet, as she's like, "Come on, let's go." As they come across one sleeping, as this is the flower that's on top of his head, top of this creature. Yeah, so that's gonna be a pain in the butt. As it's sleeping, as Kikyo, as Scarlet gestured to be quiet, as they get up close to it, it's like we don't have much time. Once we do this, the creature's gonna be alert. We're gonna have to take it down fast. If it alerts the others, we're dead. As Scarlet cuts the flower off, as it wakes up screaming, as it as it tries to grab him with the there you go, with his tentacles, trying to grab onto him. As Kikyo unleashed a fire spell, burning the creature as it's screaming in pain. As all you see, several of these creatures coming running, like moving very fast. And she's like, "Come on, Scarlet." She's like, "Come on, Kikyo, let's get out of here." As they're being chased, as they're trying to get back to the entrance, the the um the stairway towards the church, as Kikyo puts a barrier behind them, as they're running up the steps. It's like shit. As that goes on, as they get out of church, as they're running through the town, as the races are still, as Kikyo and Scarlet get some cover, as she's like, "Oh, Jesus, we just got a little bit to go." As she's like, as they get into a building, as she's like, as the wraiths are scanning the area, as she's like, "So, what type of guy is he, anyways?" As they're talking, as she tells them, as she's like, "Huh, that's very unusual for a sorcerer. I've came across sorcerers, and they're pretty judgmental about everyone that isn't a sorcerer, especially towards my kind." And she's like, "Ezekiel doesn't care. Well, Ezekiel doesn't care about that. Witch, sorcerer, or warlock. Only reason he has hatred towards warlocks now is because what happened to him when he was a kid." And she's like, "What do you mean?" "My mother said there was an incident, but she never said what. He was captured and they were trying to rip his magical essence out of his body." And she's like, "My God. I knew warlocks were, I knew warlocks were, you know, I knew warlocks crave power, but I didn't realize they would go that far. Ripping someone's magic out of someone is a very taboo thing to do. How is my mother allowing this to happen?" She's like, "I don't know. This is all over my head, Scarlet. I just want my beloved to be all right." And she's like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of that." As she looks out the window, it's like, "The coast is clear. Come on, let's go." As they're running through the forest, after they finally get to the forest, as several wraiths has took notice to their presence, as Kikyo looks behind her, as she sees a spear flying at her, at Scarlet, as she grabs Scarlet, tackles her to ground, as the wraith is like, "Found you." As like, shit. As Scarlet unleashes a holy spell, As the race screams in pain, as he's like, it hurts. Get them. As they're running out, and as they get it by the end of the forest, as Scarlet's processing the portal, as Kikyo's like, hurry, hurry. I'm hurrying, Kikyo, just give me a minute. As they portal opens, as they jump through, as the wraith was about to grab one of them, as they disappear, as they flop in the middle of the Midoriya residence, as Inko's like, girls, you're right. As she's like, yeah, I'm fine. As Scarlet, where's mom? She's in Izuku room. Do you have it? And she's like, yes, I do. As they run over, as like, as you have Izuku crying, not crying, but screaming his pain, as Kikyo hears the screams, as she's like, Lady Luna, we found it. Good girls, bring it here. Asashi, do something useful and bring me the ingredients I said. As he's like, I've become an errand boy apparently. As, yeah, a lot of people want Asashi to die, and I put a poll up, and people wanted him to live, so I was going to have a cool death scene for him, but maybe he'll die later on. I don't know yet. We'll see. As she begins the process of the Black Lotus flower, it's basically what it is. As Asashi comes in with the ingredients, as Luna grabs it, stick it in the grinder, as she's grinding it, as she takes a bit of her blood. No, as she's like, daughter, come here. As she cuts her daughter's hand, mother, what are you doing? It's a requirement. As she's chanting, as the substance starts glowing, as Kikyo, lift up Izuku's head. As she lifts up his head, as they open his mouth, as he passed out from extreme pain, as they pour it down his throat, as he's not, as he's like, shit, he's passed out. He can't swallow it. As Scarlet, move, mother. As she takes the puts in her mouth, as she opens Izuku, as she force feed him mouth to mouth with the serum, as Kikyo is kind of getting upset. As Luna's like, whoa, didn't see that happening. As she's smiling. As Izuku, starts coughing up. As she wipes her mouth, as she's like, hopefully that works. As she's like, you did good, daughter. You did good. As Seth and Cassandra comes in, daughter, you're back. How's the young man? As she's like, it said he should be out of the water, but it's going to be a long recovery. As he's panting, cold sweat, as the process is going through, as he's still in pain, as Kikyo is by Izuku's side the whole way now. She's not going to leave his side at all. As Scarlet and Kikyo are with Izuku's side, as you have Luna, Inko, and the rest of them in a separate room. And she's like, it should be, his recovery should be at least a couple weeks. He's going to be extremely weak. But what's troubling is what the warlock said. As Inko's like, yeah, their master. Who the hell were the warlocks working with? I don't know. It's very troubling. As Asashi was worried, but he has a brave front. Because Asashi seems like a dick. Like a douche to everyone. As Inko and Luna are talking, and she's like, huh, your boy was pretty strong. Despite the yelling, I'm surprised. Not many people could survive that long. Given we slowed the process of the curse, but most people don't survive this long. He's very fortunate. He comes from good stock. As they're talking, so will your will the rest of the witches sorry, will the rest of the covenants uphold the treaty? Unfortunately, no. My covenant will. Other covenants won't unless we do something drastic. As she's like, what do you mean drastic? I know your boy is betrothed to that young woman, that young girl over there. The one you call Kikyo, right? And she's like, yeah, what are you suggesting? I have a suggestion. If my daughter marries your son, and she's like, wait, but he's already betrothed to a family friend. I know that. That doesn't mean that he still can't. As she's like, are you suggesting your daughter marry my daughter? Your daughter marries my son as well? Yes, exactly. With a union between my son and the witches, my daughter, that will guarantee the covenants won't do anything. What do you say, Inko? As she's like, I'm going to have to discuss it with my husband and and Kikyo's parents. Understand. I'm more than willing to. I'm not forcing you to do it, but it will stop from other witches taking advantage of the situation. Us witches are very petty creatures. As Inko gathers everyone, except for, the girls that were with Izuku. As Inko, what's going on? Miss Looney here have a suggestion. For the treaty to be more secure, she suggests that Izuku marry her daughter as well. As she's like, what? As, Seth's laughing. Are you serious? He's like, I have no problem with it, but 2 wives? That poor boy. As Cassandra looks at him, husband, enough. Sorry, it's just hilarious. I'm glad Izuku's fine and all, but I kind of 1 wife is hard. It's a hard enough, but 2, oh that poor boy. As that happens. As Sashi's like, huh, whatever. As long as the treaty gets upheld, I could care less. The problem is how we're going to get the boy to agree to this. As Inko's like, huh, I have a suggestion. And she's like, what? As Asashi's like, what? You know how our son is so against being trapped here? How about we allow him to... How about we allow him to go back to where he was before? Until he turns of age. When he turns around 18, then we could do the marriage then. Give him time to experience the outside world. What do you say, husband? And she's like, huh, that actually might work. That will give Izuku, have him still uphold the family tradition, the promise that we made. Now we have to another one. Give him some time, some freedom, and when he's of age, yes, I think that would work. As Inkos says, allow me to do it, husband. You and him don't mix. Yeah, I know. I know I'm rough on the boy, but I'm only doing this for his own good. As she's like, I know, dear, but him, I understand Izuku a lot more than you do. As they agree, as we're gonna stop it there. Yeah, that's one hell of a story I put up. Now, that wasn't planned. I just came up with an idea in heat of the moment. So, hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones. All right, bye.